Welcome to my show, Musings from 20th Street. My name is Dr. Jane Goldberg, and we are here today to do the 20th session of my Really Real Reality group therapy show. I thought I would talk a little. We've been talking about influencing each other. That was what I wanted to talk about in the last group, and we talked a little about it, and so I thought I would follow up on that theme by talking a little about Shamu. Shamu is the killer whale. I think he's in Orlando. And a couple of years ago, there was a journalist who was hired to find out all about Shamu and the training process, because Shamu apparently does all kinds of miraculous things for a whale. So what the journalist found out is that they use an animal training technique that is very specific. They only give Shamu positive reinforcement. For a whale, that probably means fish. In animal training world, they used to use negative and positive reinforcement, but apparently they now use only positive reinforcement. So the trainer got interested in this and thought, well, if it works for a killer whale, maybe it'll work for my husband. So she decided to apply these techniques to her relationship with her husband. And so every time he did the slightest little thing that was good, she just gave him so many compliments and thanked him so much, and just, was effusive in reinforcing this behavior. So if it was as trivial as if he said, wow, that's a new dress, you look great in it. If he just said, oh, you have on a new dress, that got real positive reinforcement, even if he didn't say, you look great in it. So every little opportunity she took. And she said at the end of about 2 weeks, she did notice that there was a change. She thought that she had influenced her husband through this positive reinforcement schedule of giving him great compliments on his positive behavior. So last session, we ended the session by talking with Carol again. We began the first session talking to Carol, and I think we're going to begin this session talking to Carol too, because we're trying to track down whether or not Carol has a problem with aggression. We know Kay does not have a problem with aggression. We see her aggression is pretty out there. We know Walter doesn't have a problem with aggression. We know Barbara kind of steamrolls everybody with her aggression. We've seen a lot of aggression over in this quarters. Yeah. Molly, we don't really I don't have a feel for Molly in terms of her aggression, although Molly has said that she suffers from depression some, which would suggest repressed aggression. And our Adrian, I would suspect Adrian has a problem with aggression. Why would I suspect that? Because he's just very soft-spoken and seems really kind of uncommonly sweet. And Frank, I don't think we know enough about Frank, although he does have a lot of joie de vivre, so we might expect that Frank does not have a problem with aggression. But anyway, with Carol, we are wondering, because I think that I'm a good temperature gauge of what one should feel toward people. And I think that there should be a lot of aggression felt towards Barbara when she's interrupting people. And she did interrupt you in the last session, and you seemed very nonplussed about it. So help us psychic detectives
Well, a
figure
couple of
this
things
out.
are going on. I feel like this show has been too much about me lately.
No,
it's
it's still
go
about me.
on.
Apparently.
It's about everyone. If you didn't notice, I mentioned
picked on.
everyone in the group.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, but there was some truth to what Barbara said about maybe the way that I was raised kind of colored all of this. My father was an alcoholic, and my mother, and he had separate bedrooms, and they would get in fights, terrible fights, and chase each other down the hall and slam the door in their face and lock it, so they could escape from each other.
Well, that'll turn you off to aggression.
Yeah. So I think I saw that wasn't working very well
No, that's
from a
a
very young age.
Very destructive.
And then I had 4 older sisters. I lived with 3 of them. The oldest one was much older. But anyway, with the 4 girls in the house, and I was the youngest one, And they were all very smart, very witty, very quick, and I could not out-argue any of them. So I didn't try. I even though I jabbered a lot and I was a talky kid, I didn't try to compete verbally with anyone ever.
Can I ask for a quick repetition? Where were you in the hierarchy?
Youngest,
The youngest. With how many siblings?
4 in the house.
Four altogether.
My father had 5 daughters, but the oldest one was grown and gone.
So you were
Well, there were
lost.
5 of you.
Yes, 5 girls, but
Well, I saw a little bit of Carol's aggression
Oh,
before
do
the
tell.
show started. That's why I said she's a passive aggressive. I went to push her shoulder back so I could see you, and she turns to me and says, "Don't shove me."
no, I didn't.
And then she laid back and said, "Oh, don't be
No.
offended that I said that."
She
And I
"Don't
said,
shove
"Oh."
me."
I didn't use the word shove. I
Yes,
said,
you did.
No, I
Okay.
didn't. I said,
I don't want to argue.
I'll be happy to sit back, but don't push me.
No way you didn't. Oh, no, darling.
God, that's
Yeah, I
what
wish you had said it that polite. No.
And I-
You said, "Don't you shove me," as if I
No,
said,
I didn't.
and I was, yes,
Don't
you did.
you shove me. I don't even talk like that.
Well,
Oh, here we go
Okay,
again.
but the
I wish
truth-
you would have.
Yeah,
she
the
did.
truth is, I had seen you
did.
do that
Did you
to
see-
Adrian last week.
That'd be
Did you
great.
see
Where
anything
you
in the
just
nonverbal?
shove the person back.
Oh, okay, so
And
There's a
so I
catfight
didn't
going
say
on.
shove to
Yes.
me.
And I'm not
The
No,
doing
I
point
did
it.
not
is,
use
the
that
point
word.
is, you are right. She is not incapable of feeling aggression.
right.
She gets
Okay.
mad when she.
So I
But it's
was,
a passive aggression.
no, I beg your
That
pardon.
wasn't passive.
I wasn't mad at you for
That wasn't
pushing me
passive.
back.
Now she's
And I
mad
That was
did.
at you.
aggressive.
She's
That
so
wasn't
mad
passive at
now.
all.
I wasn't mad at you for pushing me back, but I don't like it.
Shoving.
So I said pushing, but we'll call it shoving because you do
I
shove
see
people
too.
back when they're
No,
in
no,
your
no,
way.
I'm not, we're
You
talking about
physically manipulate other people. I've seen you do it to Adrian and one other person earlier, and I thought, wow,
Is that me?
I hope she doesn't ever like shove me like that. I wouldn't like it.
Well,
I wouldn't
okay.
like it.
If I was going to shove you, you'd be shoved off the chair.
Wait a minute,
okay?
that's not a Christian
I just
thing.
gently
though.
put
Come
my
on.
hand on your
Don't
shoulder.
even do that. You
Yeah,
don't
sorry.
need to touch me.
No, you're right.
What's that shoved off the
Especially,
chair
especially
bit?
since I have a rule against it.
Right, right.
But maybe there's a distinction to be made that's important here, is that you do have negative feelings toward people. Maybe you don't want to call it anger or aggression, but you do. That was a negative feeling that you had toward Kay.
Yes, I
Yeah.
don't deny that I have negative feelings
Okay.
toward people.
Okay, I'm glad to hear
Supposed
that.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I really do feel kind-hearted, and I don't understand why you're so upset that I said, "Hey, will you don't do that? You know, don't push me. I'll sit back." And then you got so mad, and you
Because
have
I don't think you heard, I heard a different thing.
interesting,
So,
very interesting.
Although I would have been upset even if I had heard it the way you're saying you said it. And I'm not saying that I would have been upset for any good reason, but if Kay was upset, I can understand that. I just really don't like people correcting me for any reason,
Sounds like
even
me.
good reason.
I don't like it either.
So, yeah, I think most people don't
Maybe
like
that's
it.
where you see yourself in me.
But I think since I left a smaller city a few years ago in the Midwest, and I lived in San Francisco with a lot of people near Chinatown, and I've come to New York, and there are a lot of people here. You can't really push each other around physically and get away with it.
No.
And so I would never go there. I would never. I'd say,
I
Kate,
know
do you
you're
mind
perfect.
sitting back?
I
I'm
know
not
you're
saying
perfect.
I'm perfect.
I know.
I'm
I hear you.
imperfect.
I hear you. You're perfect.
What?
Oh, come on, Kay, that's nice.
Wow.
Come on, she's such
Okay,
a
now
nice
that's
person.
hostile.
That's
Yeah.
a shot.
I
That
think
was
you got your
That's a
thing
shot.
going now, Kay.
So
You gotta
instead
think
of
of
being
all of
hostile,
that.
could you just say what you're
Oh
feeling?
my God.
You're feeling angry.
I'm feeling upset. No more upset. Then first of all, she'd lie about what she'd said. Then she'd express aggression towards me, and then come to the group and pretend like it wasn't an aggressive thing at all, and it was.
She
because
said it was
later-
aggressive.
and
You
then
said it's passive aggressive, which it wasn't passive aggressive. It was aggressive.
Okay,
Period. That's what it was.
okay.
This
It was
is
honestly
crazy.
aggressive.
This is
Okay.
And she shut up. She didn't like it.
Hey, Molly, what do you think?
No,
Oh,
towards.
Towards you. She didn't like it.
Okay.
I think it's great that everybody's expressing their hostilities, you know? I mean, and
It sounds ridiculous.
just like you want. Because eventually, if you get at your aggressions in words, it's all going to work out somehow, right?
No, I'd make a
Time will
fine
pass.
distinction there. I wouldn't say it's great for people to get out their hostilities. I'd say when hostilities are being aroused, it's great to be able to talk about what you're feeling.
Okay.
So, that, when she said, the last thing that she said, that I said that was hostile, I forget what you said, but
Called her perfect.
yeah,
Miss
that was,
Well, that's-
that was
That's a
sarcastic.
shot.
Passive aggressive.
That's a shot.
It's a discharge
Sarcastic.
of aggression as opposed to processing the feeling that she's angry and articulating that in words, which is what we're aiming for.
Carol, I think it's.
And yet, you're a hairdresser, so you manipulate people physically all day. And then it
Oh,
offends you.
Kay, come
It
on,
offends
Kay.
you. No, wait.
Come
I would
on,
offend
that's
you.
not fair.
Yes, you have people coming up on a chair, you manipulate,
But
touching
that's
them
with
all
their
day.
That's
permission.
their
That's
job, that's a
her
permission.
job.
That's a permission
That's
to
her
do
job.
that. They have permission to do that.
There's a
Is it getting paid
consent
for it?
for
They're
Yeah.
getting
Right.
Kay,
permission to do it.
here's the issue. You're defending yourself as
Yes.
though you've done something wrong.
Yeah, because they're both making me feel like it.
And because
Because I touched them, took a hand, put it on somebody's shoulder, and asked her if I could see Jane's
This
face.
is snowballing
fucked
into
up. Is that what you're saying?
ridiculousness.
I never said
already.
that.
This is
It's
ridiculous.
fucked
Okay,
up.
It's
and-
fucked
okay,
up. It
because
really is
Carol
fucked
didn't
up.
like what you did does not mean that you did something wrong. It means that Carol
Didn't
didn't
like it.
like it.
Right.
And I agree with her for expressing her feelings.
Yeah, I was
It
just
would've
gonna say
been
that.
more repressed, and that may have come out in a different way had she not mentioned something, and that would avoid it in the
Exactly.
future. That she nipped it in the butt right now, I think. And I wasn't too thrilled when you did it to me last week. I agree.
Okay.
Can we have a little compassion here, maybe? It's just so hostile, and it's
No,
like.
Wait,
Because
just a
I-
second.
I
Just a
asked
sec.
you
I'd like to
5
hear-
times if you could lay back so I could see him, because I couldn't see him. That's why I did.
Okay, but yeah,
5 times I asked politely, please, do you mind sitting back so I can see
Okay,
Dee?
that's to make you more comfortable.
Please, no, it's not. It's,
Yes.
we're all supposed to be able to see each other.
Okay, but
It's to
we're-
make you
And
more
I did, I
comfortable
asked
too.
him 5 times. And then I finally tried to say, if he's not hearing
Can
me,
you adjust yourself maybe so that you can feel more comfortable and you can see Jane? Why do I have to be uncomfortable? The seats were very uncomfortable, and I was not in a good position to.
I don't get
Okay.
mad when somebody tells me to move.
I'll amend what I said about you, Adrian, if you want to prove that I'm wrong. If you want to show that you
There you
do
go.
have access to your aggression, I'm convinced.
And I don't see it as an aggression, but I just think that maybe I did repress it at the time. I mean, there's a way to.
Did you repress it, or did
I
you
did
actually,
repress it. I
you
did.
did not know?
I did actually move back.
But you didn't know that you were feeling kind of resentful?
I
Or
did
you
know. I
you
did
didn't
know.
know, so you didn't
Okay,
repress
so
it,
you didn't
you
say it.
just didn't
I didn't-
articulate
I
it.
didn't, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, this is crazy. I mean, I was, as far as you're concerned, Carol, you're a good person, all right? And I feel bad you're being attacked today, but I have to be honest, at least it ain't me, because I'm being attacked by Jane, so.
Carol's being attacked?
Well, she was being attacked
I
by
didn't
Kay a
appreciate
little
being
bit.
called a liar.
Yeah,
I mean,
they got
I
a
don't think I
little.
used that word.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, no, you
Oh,
did.
I
You
used
did.
that
No,
word.
you did. You
Sorry.
did.
You totally
It's on the
said that.
recording,
It's on tape.
believe me.
Maybe you didn't,
Sorry.
whether you use word or not,
It
you
just got out
implied
of
it at least.
proportion. It's
No.
blown out of
Okay,
proportion.
I used the word.
It's on tape, so we can all find out.
Well,
Yeah.
let me ask you, are you a liar?
No,
No,
I'm not
so
a
why
liar.
are you taking offense to something that's not true?
Because here she is in front of people I care about and in front of a television audience saying, I don't know why she lied and said that she didn't
not a
say, and then
liar.
came, it's like, that's how I remember it and that's how you remember it.
Right.
And I think it's probably that we're both a little bit right. But when you came back and said, oh, that's right, you're perfect, it's like, wow.
That's too much.
I would never
That's how I
treat you
felt
like
when
that.
I touched you gently to move you back. I would never
No,
have
it
treated
was
you like
firm.
that.
I was gonna move back because I didn't have a choice. It was this, and I just thought, wow, I wouldn't have gone there.
I'll never touch you or move
You know
you
what,
back
there's a lot of
again.
judgments
That's
going
not-
on
yeah,
around
ever.
here. It's like,
Okay.
it's when Lana came in and said, I'm a fake, before anybody even really knew me, all of a sudden, oh, she's such a fake. That is so below the belt. It's not, it's judgmental. And you consider yourself, and with all due respect, you're trying to convert people into Christianity behind the
No,
scenes. So you
no.
were doing it last week because Dee and I were
No,
listening.
no, he just asked me.
No,
a
but I'm
couple
just saying,
questions.
Yeah, I was
if you're
talking
gonna
to
be
her
a
about that.
Christian.
No, get it right.
No,
Get it right.
Well, you're getting it wrong
He
with
was the
her,
one
but,
I was
you know.
was speaking to me. I'm not trying to convert anybody behind
But
the scenes,
it's
Barbara.
done in public.
Ask the
It's done
person.
in public.
No, it wasn't. We were just having a
But
conversation.
Kay, I'm trying to make a point.
Right.
That people here are you're saying she's perfect. I was called
No,
a
that was
fake.
wrong.
And I, for as a Christian woman,
Okay, she
act
just
like a Christian
Hey,
woman.
Barbara, she just pleaded guilty. Accept that she pleaded guilty. Say
You
that's
have to watch what they
Kay,
say.
Kay, that's great that you acknowledge that what you said was
That
sarcastic
was
and
wrong, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
and destructive to
Yeah,
Carol.
Absolutely.
Because she doesn't.
Can,
deserve
hey, can you follow Shamu?
it. I'm not a whale. I
You
used
give
to look like
positive
one, but,
reinforcement when somebody does something that's right.
Well, Barbara has a scene she needs to act.
Oh, bullshit.
Well, you
Walter,
do. You need
do
it to
me
go
a
on.
favor,
I'm
bite
not
me.
saying there's anything wrong
Bite
with that
me,
either.
Walter.
I'm not saying there's
to make a
anything wrong with
point.
that either. That you have a scene you need to act.
I wasn't even talking to you. It matters.
I know you
I
weren't
happen to
talking to
like
me, but
this
this is a
woman,
group of
okay?
us,
And I
Yeah,
feel
well,
she's
I
being
agree
attacked
with you.
unnecessarily. I mean, this is snowballed.
Okay, so
into-
I think that Adrian wants to say something right now.
You think I want to say something?
Yeah. Maybe you don't want to say something. Say something anyway.
Oh, let's talk about Paul. What happened?
Oh,
yeah, there
what
you
a
go.
great question.
Oh, that's a good question.
Perfect.
That takes
Good
us right out
segue,
of the
baby.
tangent
Paul,
right there,
Paul
you know?
asked me to give y'all a message, actually. He said he is very regretful about not being able to be here, but that he's sick.
Oh, that's okay.
That's sweet.
People get sick.
Sweet.
Better than spreading the germs.
Cool.
And on
I'm
that
of
note,
the opinion that she is perfect, and we are all perfect, regardless of our mistakes or foibles. And there's no shame in saying, "Oh, well." And when you say, "Oh, you're perfect," you say, "Okay, thank you." Yeah, because if your intentions are good, you're not malicious, And then in God's eyes, everyone's perfect. Every blade of grass is beautiful. Every grasshopper is terrific. Every human being is perfect.
turn.
That's at another level.
What, you have a problem every time somebody mentions God, and you look at
Because
him like he's just
You're
talking.
claiming about God, but you treat people in this group
No,
like,
no.
so nasty.
I don't-
God wouldn't treat Jesus. What would Jesus
not
do? He wouldn't do
Jesus.
that. But Jesus
Barbara,
would talk down to
do
people.
not go there.
I'm a Christian too. I can go there.
No.
Yeah, I can.
Don't start with people's religions, Barbara,
You do it
whatever
all the
they
time,
are.
Kay.
Yeah,
oh
well,
my God.
most of the time I'm wrong, some of the time I'm right.
But the way you
he-
talk,
but
it's
just
not
don't-
Christian. It's not Christian.
You-
Okay.
I don't know if it's not Christian, but I find it
spiritual.
interesting that Kay you see life in black and white.
Yes.
It's either
Right.
right or wrong,
Right.
black and white.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah,
interesting to me
maybe I
why you do
should-
that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
You do that. I mean, this like the last session
I
was all
like
about
black
that.
and white, yeah.
Okay, so
You're right.
I'm gonna say why it is that she accepted that, which kind of was an interpretation, what we in analysis call an interpretation. You said it without judgment. You just said, "This is what I see about
Yeah, and
you,"
he's right.
and it didn't arouse her defenses.
No?
So it follows a principle that we call ego-syntonic, which means that to her ego, the part of our being that we identify ourselves as being, that was acceptable to her.
Cool.
That this man bears no ill will to me. He's just telling me, he's trying to be helpful actually by telling me something about
Yeah.
myself.
Absolutely.
Why do you think
Thank
you
you,
do?
Dee.
Why do you think you do?
I
Is
don't
it comfortable
know.
that way that there is a right and a wrong? And
Yeah, it
there's
is
no,
comfortable for them, yeah.
You strike again. Very good.
Dee, I have to admit something. I also don't think in gray either.
Really, I think.
I mean, you don't intentionally want to do that because then you become very opinionated, which I'm sure.
Anyways, I really like what you said about the blade of grass and everything created here from God, so that was nice to hear.
And I don't understand why you got offended when you said you're perfect.
There was a different intention.
No.
Really, there was a
Sarcastic.
different
Different
intention in that way of
intention.
speaking.
It was
That's what she did.
sarcastic. You don't get
That's
that.
why it was
Sarcasm.
sarcastic.
But she was saying, I didn't mean you any harm. And it's like, okay, so you're perfect.
No, but that's
That was sarcastic.
sarcastic. That
That's
after she said
sarcasm.
that,
Of
it's
course
sort
she's
of
gonna be
like
negative
not.
to it.
It's like apologizing
Come
and
on,
saying,
sarcasm.
"But fuck you
Yeah, we
anyway."
need to go beyond
Come
that.
on,
You know,
Frank,
you get rid of
subtext.
it.
You're an actor.
It was
You're an actor.
sarcasm.
Method acting. What did she really mean under those lines?
That's
There
what
was-
it
there
was.
was- there
That's
was a
what
dig
she's
there.
reacting to, not
That
the
was
statement,
a
not the
that
word.
was below
It was a
the belt.
sarcasm.
I mean,
It's fine.
I wouldn't have said that to her. I mean,
Yeah.
she needs positive criticism right now, not negative criticism, which I find
Oy.
runs like diarrhea in this group.
I think positive.
Diarrhea.
Yes, it
think
really.
What
What
does.
else runs like diarrhea?
Your mouth, maybe? I don't know.
You have to be looking in a mirror when you're saying
I'm
that.
looking in your mirror, but maybe we're looking in the same mirror. Who knows?
I keep
I think
her.
she's working on it. I really do. I think she's. I know it's baby steps, but I think Barbara's getting it. I think
How can I be more effective? She really needs to not
You're a
have
little
diarrhea
mean
of
to
the
her,
mouth
but-
the way she does.
I understand, but it's going to take a while. Because she's
That's
used to
right.
doing
No, I
that.
disagree.
Yes,
I think
Molly.
she's got it already.
Positive
Now what?
reinforcement.
She's
Awareness.
understanding.
I tried that.
She might have awareness,
Interrupt
but
him.
it's harder
keep-
to put into motion.
Because negative is,
Do you
able to
remember
do it.
last
Because
session,
she's
I
done it all right.
complimented
That's what
her
she likes to
fairly
do.
repetitively every time she actually waited.
but I do feel like negative criticism is only going to make it worse.
Yeah.
I
You
kind of
just
agree.
reinforced my negative
But-
issue. Now I
but-
finally accomplished what I come here to do. And let-
Okay,
You didn't
okay,
come
we've
in.
heard it, and now I want someone in the group to please explain that my attention to Barbara is not hostility, it's actually interest.
What she listens to. 'cause
It wasn't hostile.
No, Dee is nice to me.
No,
I know what
no,
you mean.
Dee, please explain to Barbara that my
She's going to
interest,
believe me, but I
well, I want to hear it
it
anyway.
Yeah,
wasn't-
because you and
hostile.
Barbara have some
Seriously,
kind
it wasn't
of
hostile.
connection, so.
completely. She just wants it to work. She wants this thing.
Well, I want it to work too.
I know
Look
you
at the
do. I
audience.
No, no, we're not
I
talking
think
about
you're
what you
right.
want. We were talking about what I want. Can you pay attention to what I want for a moment? I want you to get help. That's positive interest in you. It's
Yeah.
not hostility.
Not hostile.
It's not negative. It's not, it is criticism, that's true.
Yeah,
But she'll
there are
listen
some
to
negatives that you say to her, I think, but your overall intention that you're saying now
Sure.
is definitely positive.
You know, I've said in a lot of different ways, she wears a bullseye on her back. You know, she's charging after the red cape. I mean, she calls aggression toward her. And I do think that this needs to be attended to. But I also want the rest of the group to not get lost in Barbara's needs.
I think we're doing better with that.
Well,
I do. I think
if
the
someone's
group's doing better with
needs
that.
are dominating, it's also good to be able to work from them, you know, to let them affect you as long as they're affecting you and to bring up what it brings up.
Yeah,
There's some
but
value in that.
Didn't I tell you all about the patient that I had that had the schizophrenic sister?
No.
No?
No? So I thought I did. Maybe this will you'll recognize it from this. He came in and he said he couldn't say anything negative about his parents because.
Oh, you did tell us
Yeah.
that.
Okay. So it destroyed the family. The schizophrenic sister absolutely destroyed the family. He got no attention. The schizophrenic sister, they were always trying to save her. They were doing everything in their power, throwing money, throwing therapists, throwing attention, everything, and it destroyed the family. So if we continue to pay so much attention to this one person in the group and lose ourselves, it will destroy the group.
I agree.
Why, do you want me to
But I
leave the
still
group?
think it's
No.
No, I just want you to control yourself.
I don't think it's happening that bad, though.
I don't
It would
either.
have to be worse than what Barbara does, to my mind.
Yeah.
Thanks.
to destroy the group. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still here and we're all functioning.
Perfect.
Might destroy me, but it might not destroy the group.
No, if you started controlling what comes out and started listening more, it would integrate you.
Can I
It would
ask you a
destroy
question?
it would destroy all of these very elaborate defenses that you've erected.
There are moments,
for yourself.
I think, last episode that she actually did that. I mean, even when we were saying that she was interrupting Carol, it was because she was interested in what she was saying. It wasn't
wasn't
doing
about
just
me,
to
it was
interrupt
about
her. I mean,
Carol.
she was actually about Carol.
Thank you.
So I felt it was sort of positive. I didn't really get that she was interrupting her just to do
I
it.
felt she was.
I felt
She was-
maternal too,
No, I
but
don't
Carol
know.
in
She was
defense
into what Carol
towards
was
Carol,
feeling.
about
She was
towards you.
completely into
I'd like to
And
ask
you call
Barbara
me
a
black
question.
and white, D?
Okay, so we have two sets.
Yeah, but I
Who
did the
am
same
I
thing,
listening
I
to?
had a
Is this
different
the group?
interpretation, you know?
Is this the group or is this the group? Who is the group right now? I don't know which side to
I'd like
listen
to ask Barbara a question.
Are you the group? You're taking over?
I'd like
as the
to.
group? Okay. If they cooperate with you, I'm happy.
Thank you.
Takes
Well,
Carol
thank you.
off the mark for a minute.
Barbara, do you ever get yourself into a quiet state and just let yourself reflect, especially after you've talked a lot?
I get very depressed. I'm very a depressed person, so I don't get my highs. I don't have highs. I've never had a high in my life unless I smoke weed. Oh, great, I just aired that on television. But anyway, I was a
We did that
hothead from
last.
14 to 45. That was the only time I could mellow out.
My feeling is you're not really answering my question.
Okay, now I have
Now
a
you
question
did.
for
Related to
Molly.
it, but you're not really
Walter,
dealing with it.
Molly.
Walter, I have a question for Molly. I want to know if Barbara's getting too much attention and if it's diverting the group away from everything else that could happen.
Yes.
Can you do something about it?
No.
Why not? Are we at your depression now?
No.
No?
No, not at all.
Okay, so
I
what
can't control other people's behavior.
No, I'm not sure that that's true.
I can influence, but I can't control.
Okay, influence. Influence the group to talk about something other than Barbara.
Influence Walter to talk about something.
No, let's stay away from the two.
That's a good point.
I mean, to me, it comes from a point of negative attention is better than no attention. And so, therefore, if you grow up with a lot of negative attention and you're not used to positive reinforcement, then of course you're going to provoke people into giving you negative attention.
You must know my past.
It's easy to
Yeah.
figure out. I mean,
It's exactly
so
what I grew up with, so.
I kind of feel that you're doing the best you can, and maybe if we can adjust the seating arrangement, that would be optimal. But I don't think it's really going to cure the issue.
Hey, I did have something of an idea that it would be an adventure, sort of, sitting next to Barbara today.
What were
So-
you hoping to achieve?
Yeah.
I wanted
What?
to see. I'm still relatively new, and wanted to really get a flavor of Bob.
Does anyone in the group have any interest in the new guy?
Sure.
Yes.
But I know Frank. So I'm sort of
Okay, well, as long as y'all are in the group together, all these rules keep coming up. You can't have any outside contact with Frank, as long as y'all are in
That's
the group
okay.
together.
We
Yeah,
hardly,
but the-
we don't.
we don't
But
connect that
Dr.
much.
Goldberg, these two do all the time.
Yeah, they're friends. I mean,
These two?
Yeah.
Oh, these two. No,
Think
they
about the group.
they agreed not to when they joined.
I won't talk about the group with Frank. It's fine.
One thing I want to say is I think that Barbara is an intelligent person, and
thank you.
we've talked extensively, not only in this show, but the last show, about the fact that she's twittering and interrupting, and she shouldn't do that. So I'm sure she has the message, and no more will she be guilty of that.
Wow,
There you go.
you believe that?
Absolutely, of course.
Oh my God! Will you please prove him right and don't answer? Just prove him right. So I'm still interested in your depression, however.
I think it's very multifactorial. I think that maybe it's from anger not expressed, or I know what it was. The other day I was thinking that I have very high expectations of myself, and so when I fall short of the mark, it throws me into a tailspin.
I like sexy hair. I like, because there are so many older women that come in and they say, well, I just don't want to look like an old lady. Of course you don't. Of course you still want to feel feminine. Of course you still want to feel current, and you want to feel sexy. And they say yes, like they're so relieved
Right, that
that
it's
we
okay.
get it. Yeah.
Well, it's not that I don't want to look sexy. It's just that I don't want to look like a tart either. You know what I mean? Like.
Just a second, let me.